So we've got Jen Anderson, program manager with Trillium, Paul Barrett, who's here, who's a franchise owner with Westside Pizza, Miranda Fort, another program manager with Trillium, Ronnie Oswald, who is Director of Adult Education Services at Holly Ridge Center, and Samantha Shearer, who's an Adult Employment Services person at Holly Ridge as well.
So I'm going to have everybody kind of introduce themselves and the agency that they're with. I'm Miranda Fort, and there was a little error in our program. I'm actually from Easter Seals, but it works out well because Jen and I work really closely, so I feel like I work for Trillium.
Thank you, Miranda. I'm Jennifer Anderson, and I work for Trillium Employment Services, and I'm the program manager here in Kitsap County.
I'm Ronnie Oswald from Holly Ridge Center. I am the program manager for the Adult Employment Services.
And my name is Samantha Shearer. I'm an employment consultant for Holly Ridge Center.
I'm Paul Barrett, and I'm an employer and a father of one who is in the disability category.
So show of hands, how many employers here have supported employees in your workforce? Raise them high so everyone can see. That's wonderful. So we understand that this can be kind of a sensitive topic and a little bit hard to discuss, especially if you aren't familiar with the current verbiage that's out there. So on your tables in the folders, there is some terminology to help you guys know what the current verbiage is so you feel more comfortable participating in conversations during our presentation. So one thing you'll find is that we want to use person-first language when we're talking about the people we serve. That just shows that the people we serve are more than just their disabilities. Are we moving forward? So, oh, no, you're okay. Oh, can you go back one, please? Yep. So this is the EFC team. So it's Holly Ridge. We work with the Kitsap County. We work with Kitsap County. We work with the Department of Social and Health Services, both with DVR and DDA. We work with WISE, which is the Washington Initiative for Supported Employment. We've got Bodice, CARES, Easter Seals, and Trillium all on our wonderful team.
So pictured here is Caitlin. She works at the Silverdale Goodwill, and there she does a lot of the video production. Basically, she goes through all the videos that are coming in, some of the books that are coming in as well, sorts them, make sure that they're in good working order, look good, and then she stocks them back on the shelves. Caitlin came to us as a student and really wanted to find community and find a job that really connected with something she enjoyed doing. This is her second job, and she's been so successful and so helpful to the team. She's just a really essential part of their team, and we were able to carve out that job specifically for her, and it's something that they really needed support with. So that is Caitlin. And then on your tables, you should have some paperwork from our organizations, and we're going to do a little trivia to see if you guys have already looked through it, or you can search through it now and find it. So question 1, and go ahead and just raise a hand, and whoever's first, I'll point to you. What is the average return for every dollar invested into accommodations for employees?
In the back. Back row.
Back row? Oh, right there, right in the back. That's correct. Thank you.
Do you want to say it into the mic so everyone can hear? Say the answer into the mic so everyone can hear.
The answer, yes, your answer is correct, and that is $28.69 on average. And then a second question. Customers with disabilities and their family, friends, and associates represent blank market segment. Do I see any hands? back there. Oh, yes, whoever said 3 trillion, that's correct. Thank you. Okay.
So I wanted to introduce you to Naomi. She came to us from school to work programs, find a job right before you went to school. So you get into adulthood with a job. And I wanted to tell you a little about supported employment so you know what it is. This is where we find somebody who wants a job. We get to know them, what their likes are, their dislikes, and find the perfect job, something that matches them and an employer. And then we go help with the interview, teach interview skills, get the interview, and help get them their job. And then we support them to learn the job and stay on the job. Our main focus is to find the job that they love, that they will stay in. A lot of our people stay in their jobs for well over a year. Turnover is really low. We have clients or people that have been working at the same job for 25 years. So it's a high retention. So some of the supports we might help somebody with and can also help the businesses. So if we set up a support for somebody with a checkoff list, anybody in that business can help and use that support and use the checkoff list. It's a universal design. There's many things we can do that help not just the person, but the entire business. So Naomi has grown so much since she started there. She came out of school. She was really shy. She is still kind of shy, but not as much as she used to be. And some of the skills that she learned at work, she's now taking home and using them at home. Being able to cut an apple and help make a pie to bring to work because she's excited about work. So just watching her bloom has been phenomenal. And her dad is here. You'll get to talk to him and meet him later. So I'll let him brag on her a little bit later. So, and some of the things that we can do for you as a business, if you come to us with, I have an opening, especially with all of us together, we can find somebody to fill that void in the community. So if you're looking for, I'm going to be big, if you're looking for a NASCAR driver and you come to me and say, I need a NASCAR driver, and I go through all of the participants that I'm working with and say, I don't have one, but let me ask my team over here, the forum, and maybe one of them has one. So this is what we're looking for. This is the group. This is the coalition. We're all looking forward to the future and coming together to get our people employed. So, this is hard. Natural supports, and we can also help train you and your staff for some of the awareness to make other people comfortable. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable to work with somebody you don't normally interact with. And this is a great way to get to interact with them, learn some things, and find out they're phenomenal people. There's nothing better when you're looking for your diverse workforce is to add some phenomenal workers from this pool of resources that is completely untapped at this point.
So we've kind of used the word supported employment agency a few times without really going into what it is. So what is a supported employment agency? It's a group of professionals like ourselves who work with businesses to identify maybe where you aren't being as efficient as you need to be. And we come in and we sit down and we learn from you about where is your business right now? Where are your hiring needs? Where are you maybe not being as efficient? And then we work with you to identify how can we make some of those tasks into its own separate kind of niche role. And then we bring in a skilled worker to get that done, which helps you become more productive and increase your revenues, which is kind of what we're all here for. All right.
some benefits to your business for hiring somebody with a disability. It really improves teamwork. I truly believe that. I've seen it over and over again. The people that we work with bring so much joy. They want to work so much. So, we hear people talking about like the unemployment rate being low or the turnover rate being so high. I think this is something that helps reduce that because it really does add a sense of community. You see, it's contagious to see somebody else want to be at work and do the best that they can. So that just radiates throughout your whole business. And I know you employers out there, they're going to attest to that. It also creates some efficiencies and streamlines things. Miranda talked a little bit about going in and talking with you about, where are areas that things aren't getting done either all or inefficiently. And we work with you to identify those areas and then help create, positions specifically to help, just like with Caitlin and helping with the videos and putting those away. It does promote better candidate and job environment, which I think is kind of similar to that teamwork and that same concept. And then also you get to work with us as a supported employment agency. It's no cost service to your business for us to teach you about how to work with somebody with a disability, doing that free assessment of your business and showing where those inefficiencies are and helping fill those gaps. And then also we support that employee for the lifetime of their job typically. So you're constantly getting support with if you have turnover and your new staff need to learn how to work with somebody, a coworker with a disability, or that person wants to grow in their job. Those are all things that we're going to continue to support with. You'll see our face often. So those are just some of the benefits to your business. But I'd also would love to invite Paul to speak on it a little bit more. His experience, he's hired and also has a kid that has been in this, worked in support employment as well. So thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Whoa. I'm just the dad, so what's really important is the celebrity. Naomi, can you stand up and wave at everybody? Does anyone here have a cat? Show of hands. Anybody have a cat? Okay, my condolences to all of you. I am in the bathroom this morning, ironing my shirt, and I hear this cough. And I look into the bedroom, and there is my wife's cat laying on my suit coat, not just hair, but coughing and starting to cough up a hairball. So, I just got to say, you never know the challenges life is going to throw at you. As a business owner and a business coach, I really appreciate the investment the Employment First Coalition is providing to our business communities. It's an investment in people. It's an investment in strengthening our business environments. It's an investment in transforming lives. My introduction into the world of people with disabilities began over 30 years ago. I had a young man by the name of Wayne. An agency brought him in. At the time, I owned a water treatment and bottled water company. And Wayne came in, and the first thing I noticed about him, he had a big attitude, really a good attitude, and a big smile. I liked him immediately. The job coach immediately assisted me in defining a role for Wayne and in supporting Wayne in his new role. Wayne became my primary bottler and filling 5-gallon bottles of water. He did this over a period of about 2 years. It was a perfect fit for Wayne. Wayne was always punctual, dependable. He bottled water consistently following the process. Enthusiastically, and Wayne, with his great attitude, he had pride in what he did. 8 years ago, I started another business. And during an initial employee meeting, I was quite shocked when the franchisor came up to me and said, "You can't hire Jonathan." I'm like, "Why?" Now, Jonathan was diagnosed with autism, but he said, "Everybody here has to be able to do everything." And I was like, I remember Wayne, he was with you for 2 years. That cuts down on that employer turnover cost. You know what? I'm going to hire Jonathan. Well, during training, it was kind of fun. I was walking around and noticed Jonathan was missing. And lo and behold, I find Jonathan. He's in the walk-in closet in the back of the restaurant, light off, door shut. And when I went in, he was standing there looking straight up at the ceiling. And I went, okay, training's overwhelming, isn't it? I got an idea. Jonathan, follow me. And I took him to the back of the restaurant. And I said, "Hey, Jonathan, you know what? I've got a job for you. This job is making dough. And you know what's really great about this job? It's the most important job in the entire restaurant. If we don't have dough, we don't open." You know what? Jonathan, for 7 years, punctually, on time, responsibly, Jonathan came in and made dough 6 days a week, 4 to 6 hours a day, and he became my dough master. Now, like Wayne, making dough was Jonathan's perfect fit. As a business coach and business owner, I have experienced the positive business impact of having the perspective that all of us, in varying degrees, have levels of disability. And it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but if I ever question it, I just ask my wife. She'll give me a list. But it's simply a matter of finding the right fit within our workplaces. Now, 7 years later, Jonathan developed the confidence and self-esteem from his job as a dough master to enroll in a welding certification class. Now, this is big because he went from here at Kitsap County all the way over to Spokane. He lived with his mom this whole time. He went there living in a housing situation there, but on his own, basically, getting certified. He came back. He is now serving an apprenticeship at the Bremerton Shipyard. Jonathan has a career. "22 years ago, my daughter Naomi was born with Down syndrome. My wife and I embraced this new challenge in our life. We decided, Naomi, she's going to be our second daughter. We went through a whole period of, miscarriages and everything. It's just we felt so excited to have another child. One of our thoughts was, you know what? We're going to do everything we can to integrate Naomi into every aspect of life. Now, early in Naomi's life, she was diagnosed with cancer, acute myeloid leukemia. So along with incorporating 4 therapies a week for the first 3 years of her life, Naomi had to overcome cancer. She is now a cancer survivor. There was a big smile by Naomi over there. So now she gets to eat cookies and everything. From this experience, I've been committed to helping people with varying degrees of physical, mental, emotional challenges of all kinds. I choose to see opportunities in all people. Currently, I have 2 individuals. They've been diagnosed with disabilities working in my restaurant, AJ and Phoebe. AJ and Phoebe were part of Naomi's classes at Kingston High School. Her entire class for 2 school years would come over for about an hour in the morning and fold boxes. Now, they never asked me to pay them, but they loved the free pizza and the pop. So that was their payment. After graduation, both AJ and Phoebe, through a supported employment agency, came to work for me. The agencies came along to define the job roles, assist in training, and provide ongoing support, and do to this day. My other employees love having AJ and Phoebe helping in the restaurant. They enjoy working alongside them because they have a positive and enthusiastic attitude. They're excited to have jobs. They appreciate, all my employees appreciate the task that AJ and Phoebe complete. And I really like the fact that my staff has become better at their jobs because one of the things they have to do is come alongside them and train them. In the process of training them, it reinforces the skills that my staff has a tendency to forget or wander off onto their own ideas of how to do things. So in that sense, everyone benefits by having Phoebe and AJ at the work. Possibly the biggest impact for your business in hiring people with disabilities within the right fit and the right job role is to increase profitability in the business and impact of a life transformed. My experience with people with disabilities is they typically are long-term. They appreciate the stability, they love the routine, and most importantly, they take pride in their work. The benefit of the business is in the reduction in cost of employee turnover. Bottom line, profitability. An example of the pride developed in the positive impact on sales for a business, my daughter last week. We were picking up supplies because my main supplier didn't bring what we ordered, and it's a little supplier issue going on around here. And so I go down to this wholesale house, and I was buying supplies. So we're going through here, and I'm going down this aisle. I'm like, oh, man, they don't have mop heads. Well, we get in the truck. I load everything in, and we're heading down the highway. And I hear this little voice in the back seat all of a sudden pipe up, Henry Hardware has mop heads. Then she proceeded to tell me exactly where in Henry Hardware these mop heads were located. Now, I'm a little skeptical, and I'm thinking, they have household mop heads. They don't have commercial mop heads. So anyways, I kind of put it off. But every single day, for 3 days straight, I hear this, Dad, don't forget mop heads. So when she goes back to work on Monday, I ran in there, and she took me by the hand, took me to the aisle, and pointed to the mop heads. And lo and behold, I was surprised that, holy cow, they do have commercial mop heads. So now, Henry Hardware has my mop head business. I think I'm going to ask if Naomi should get a commission. I don't know. Okay. So the impact on our community is seen by how these individuals grow in self-esteem, as you saw in the example with Jonathan, confidence, and the positive attitudes they exhibit by having a life of meaning and purpose. The impact of investing in people with disabilities in your business is an investment in strengthening your business environment and in transforming lives. I'll close with this thought. When Naomi was born, a friend of mine told me, because we were totally clueless about disabilities at that time, Down syndrome means Naomi has an extra chromosome. It's a chromosome of love. Everyone, deep down inside, everyone desires to extend their love and their expression of love, and everyone also loves to receive that love.
Thank you so much, Paul. I love hearing from not only an employer, but a parent, and just appreciate your stories. I think that's why we're all in this work, because those are the stories that we get to see and share every day with employers and families. And so thank you for that. We're going to do another trivia just to break things up a little bit. Question number 1, what percentage of customers report that they prefer to patronize businesses that hire employees with disabilities? Right over here in the blue. 87%. That's correct, 87%. That's pretty high. Question number 2. What is the turnover rate for employees with disabilities compared to other workers? 8%. 8%. And compare 8% to the 45% for people that don't experience disability. So pretty big impact. Okay, I'm going to pass it on to Ronnie so she can tell us a little bit about Tony.
Here's our picture of Tony. He works at the grocery outlet, stock and stuff. which color is his hair in this one? Red hair. He dyes his hair and paints his nails depending on what he's feeling right now. We have Seahawks blue. So that's where he's at. And his fingernails are the Seahawks colors. So that's Tony. So if you ever go to grocery outlet in Bremerton, go see Tony. He stocked all the good stuff for you. I wanted to do a little numbers, county impact by the numbers. It's up here. I believe it's also in your packages. So the employment services people going out, getting their jobs, they spend their money in this county. And that equals 1.34 million in this county. And currently, 120 local businesses have adults with disabilities working in their businesses and creating community and bringing economics into our community. Let's go by state impact by the numbers. Job retention after 1 year is 85%. So that's a really high number, 85%. In the Washington earning, that is $64.5 million in our state. And adults that live with disability is 1 in 4. So most likely you know somebody that has a disability. And disabilities are not always permanent. So people can come in and out of having a disability. So, I don't know, a fall down the stairs, a car accident. So things come and go. And someday, you have probably done accommodations for somebody in your employment that had a car accident or is on crutches, busted their ankle, their leg, something, and had to do an accommodation even for a short time to keep them employed. This is just a longer version of that with our support.
All right, I'm gonna stand up honestly because I'm just so excited right now that I don't have to figure out how to share my audio. It's already on for me, so I'm pretty happy about that. So my name is Samantha Shear. I am with Holly Ridge Center. I'm an employment consultant. I really wanted to share a little bit about what we call informational interviews, which is really just a fancy term for we want to get to know you guys. Connecting with the businesses in our community is how we learn about different job opportunities, different industries, different career paths. I really couldn't stand up here and say I'm an employment professional or employment specialist if I didn't know anything about different types of employment. So I got to learn from the pros, and that's you guys. So what I really love to do, a key function of my job really is to get out there and learn. And that's typically through an informational interview or essentially just a one-to-one. I see a lot of familiar faces in here, so I'm sure a lot of you probably do networking, chambers, BNI. I see Beth over there. There's Steve back there. He's an awesome guy. Yeah. So a lot of you are probably aware that in order to get business, right, people got to know you and like you and trust you. And you can't just kind of go in there blind and just assume that you know everything about mechanics. I certainly didn't. But thanks to Keith and Linda here, they are the owners of LK Auto Repair down in Bremerton. I've actually been working with them now, partnering with their business for, I want to say 7 years. I met Keith at a networking event, and he was so sweet, had just this vibrant energy about him. I thought he was selling cars because he was just that. I mean, gosh, he could power a small city. But I loved his energy, and we just kind of clicked right away. And I didn't have anybody on my caseload at the time that was into mechanics. I myself knew nothing about it, but I figured, what the heck? Like, let's hang out, let's grab coffee. I want to learn about your business. How, maybe how could we work together? Whether it's supported employment or disability awareness training, like Ronnie mentioned earlier, or volunteer trial work experiences, those sort of things. You never know, really, and you never know who people know. So I met with Keith, and little did I know that one little conversation that we had led to 4 job placements in his business and a lifelong friendship and business relationship with LK's Auto. They just recently hired their 4th client, and she was in our vocational rehab program, so it's kind of designed to be a little more short-term. But she is actually now one of their top service advisors over there, and she's just blossomed and grown so much. And we actually now send all of the customers that have vehicles or need their vehicles worked on, they all go to LK's because Voc Rehab actually now contracts with them. So it's brought them a lot of business. It's been wonderful for the 4 employees that they have there. And I enjoy learning about like spark plugs every once in a while, or like how to change my own cabin air filter. That turns out it's really easy. Did you? Okay, you guys probably knew that. So if you're interested in learning about Holly Ridge or any of our other wonderful vendors here, I highly encourage you to, because you never know what kind of outcome you can experience. Just imagine the possibilities. Thank you.
In conclusion, I just want to say I've noticed many of you, like myself, already are employing people with disabilities. And so first, I just want to say to you, thank you, and I hope you're enjoying the journey as much as I am. My challenge to the business owners that aren't in that category right now, who are present today, is to see your world as a world of varying degrees of disability, where every employee, based on their capabilities, their potential, not their limitations, can find their fit in your business. And then that way they can become a productive member of your business environment. If you're interested in scheduling, as we were just explaining here, an informational interview, please take in place. You'll see there's a little square glass, I'm told it's called a glass votive, on your table. I just call it a little square glass thing. But if you're interested in having one of these informational meetings, just place your business card in that, and then we will collect that, and a person from Employment First Coalition will connect with you. Thank you.
So really quickly, I just want to touch on this incredible young woman. Her name's Ashley. She is a housekeeper up at Paulsbo Inn and Suites. She was a student who got hired out of high school, and employment for her has really grown her self-esteem. When we met the other day, we were talking about her long-term goals, and her big goal right now is to own her own home, just like any other 23-year-old has that dream of. And with her work, it's doable. So the individuals that we serve have goals and dreams just like all of us, and it's not possible without employment. So to wrap things up, does anyone have questions for the Employment First Coalition? Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to carry the microphone.
Oh,
Could we
perfect.
see the hand again? Thank you very much.
What's the average length of time between meeting a client, understanding their needs, and matching them with an employer?
Rock, paper, scissors.
I mean,
Take it.
Yeah, that can really vary depending on the individual. However, most of our clients are coming to us through the school district, and so we do what's called School to Work, a program that's it's an extended school program that we do some discovery to learn about them and then help place them by the time they graduate at 21. So I would say, to really get to know somebody and know their skills and their interests, it's taking a year to 2 years for us to really get that. That doesn't mean that we don't sometimes get clients who are out of school that time is reduced because they're a little bit older. They've learned a lot of skills. They've probably worked some other jobs. And then to work with you guys, it usually, we usually place somebody in about 6 months from the time that we get them to developing a job and finding them in the right fit. Hope that answered your question. Okay.
So one thing that I tell my staff when we're looking at jobs is I liken it to online dating. So you can do like your Tinder job matches, right? You place them and you get things done pretty quickly, but it's probably not going to be lasting for a long time. Or you can do kind of more like your Plenty of Fish type online dating job matches where you're really courting for a long time and then the matches are going to last for quite a bit longer. So we can place somebody quickly, but it's probably going to end just as quickly. So we want to take the time to really get to know both the job seeker and the business to make sure that it's going to be the perfect match.
Hi. For job seekers, how do they get into supported employment, and is there an age range only that you guys work with?
You want to take it?
That is a really good question. So when I first started with Holly Ridge, it was typically 18 years and older for our adult program. However, there have been some new programs launched that now also assist and support the school to work transition that was already kind of brought up. But there's also now pre-employment transition services where students that are still in high school and have 2 years left in high school can work with a employment vendor to actually try out the job of their interest. And then moving from then on, the employment vendor can kind of help them to customize a good career path and employment goal. Oh, yeah. That was the second part of the question. Okay. So typically, our clients come to us from one of our vendors, or funders, excuse me, which is the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, or DVR, or the Division of Developmental Disabilities Administration, or DDA. So depending on the type of disability, whether or not they were born with it or maybe sustained it later in life, that can impact which funding source they go through. And then those counselors from those organizations reach out to us. But we are all definitely resources to the community. So even if it's somebody, that you may think might benefit from our services and they're just not even sure how to get started, we're happy to help guide people to where they need to go. So thank you for that question.
I have another question. You often mention the right fit for a position, and obviously gave some examples, the dough master and stocking shelves and whatnot. Are there any specific traits or consistencies across the sort of positions that you see come up that you could kind of describe to help inspire us here on what we might have within our own business that might be a good fit?
Go.
That's a tough one. There's so many different businesses with different needs, and I think that's it should be a hard question to answer, but it can be because you as employers have unique needs. You talk about the dough master, Caitlin doing the videos, like it really is based off of your business need. I'll give an example. Miller Sheet Metal, we work with them. They hired somebody nonverbal, has some significant support needs, and he sorts all of their hardware when it comes back from different job sites. So it comes back, we put it in a bucket that sorts. He goes ahead and sorts all of them based on whether it's a nut or a bolt or what might it be, So we get really creative, again, based off something they needed. It saves money. They don't have to repurchase some of these materials that are, just getting thrown in a bucket at the end of a job. And so that's been the benefit to his business.
So what I hear you saying is pretty much every business here could benefit
Absolutely.
from working with you. Thank you.
I like to ask a business what isn't getting done, because that's what we fill in, is what isn't getting done on time or getting done, or what are you paying your top producer to do that one of our people could come in and help and save you money and probably increase your revenue. We have a girl, she works at JCPenney's. She went in, her only job was to straighten out the sale rack. Get it all, everybody back, the colors and the clothing, because people just threw stuff in there. And their sales in their sale rack went up by 25%, just because she organized it. So there are small things that you probably don't even know will increase your profitability by quite a bit.
Just a quick example, I kind of mentioned it before, but by having AJ and Phoebe come in, and the first thing they do on their shift is they make all the boxes, fold all the boxes up for the entire day. That's critical, because that way the other workers can focus on customers and they can focus on the jobs that AJ and Phoebe aren't able to do. So that's why my employees love them being there so much, is they can do those routine tasks that just get in the way of being able to try to get out there and serve the customers.
Any more questions?
I mean, I kind of, oh.
I mean, I can speak for Easter Seals, and I'm sure everyone here can attest. We have job seekers that are ready and willing to get out there and get employed. But for me, the biggest barrier that we're seeing is that employers are so overwhelmed with how short-staffed they are, they can't even think about doing informational interviews or bringing in somebody that they see is going to take additional training. But what employers don't understand is employment consultants, job coaches, our job is to learn a job very, very quickly and turn around and teach it. So we can take that burden off of you to teach a new employee, because chances are whatever job you have, we've taught it before probably 2 or 3 times. So we can train your new employee much faster than you would teach anybody else. Yeah.
And I'll actually say we are seeing an increase in employment for our clients, and I think that once employers see that, yeah, we're in there, exactly what Miranda's saying, they're getting up and going and filling that need really quickly, even though on the backside they're still struggling to get people to stay or even hire them. So, I think give us 30 minutes for even an informational interview. There's no commitment to that. It's at least a starting point.
Please thank the Employment First Coalition, everybody.